like, these are the little secret things that when you're watching this and you're not currently doing it, but she does it, you should just do it. These are clever things that she's developed that you should be copying. Hello everybody, Grady, Polcyn, your Family First Life America. So excited to have Katelynn Blackburn on with us. Katelynn Blackburn is a Hall of Fame producer, as well as in 2021, she was our Rookie of the Year for the entire company. We had 17,000 agents on ground in Miami, and she walked across stage and was donned at our annual convention, the Rookie of the Year. And I'm so excited to have her on here. She's a tremendous producer, and if you're looking for a video to watch or a training to follow and a producer to emulate, she's sitting to my left, and she's going to go through A to Z, door to door, click to click on what she says, the word tracks. If you're taking notes, great. If you're not, I'd recommend it. You're not going to remember what you hear. You only remember what you write down, and then you're able to teach. And I'm so excited to have you here today, but we're going to go through your presentation, which is the part of the money making of this business. The dials are important. You got to book the appointments, otherwise you got no one to present to. But then when you're sitting there with a client, what are the next things we need to say in order to get the client to move in the direction we want them to move, which is to protect their family? So, Katelynn, I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for coming. And but I would love it if you give a 30, 45 second bio just for those who maybe don't know you to the level that we all know and have grown to love you. And then we'll get into the meat and potatoes.
So my name's Katelynn, and I've been here for about 15 months or so. Started just personally producing, no sales experience whatsoever. Great thing about Family First Life is everything is free training. Everything is, the resources are there for you to do that. Really, you can just start on your own and figure it out. And that's kind of what I did. I knew that if I believed in myself and I followed the system, that this was going to be a vehicle for myself and my family to go places. So it was like, I'm gonna figure this out. So that's what I did. From there, I've started to share the opportunity, and now growing an agency, and that's an even more fun part of this business. So basically, I mean, what I want to say mostly is just how to structure yourself to be a top producer, because I think that's a lot of questions that I normally get is like, how do you structure your life to become a top producer? And it really becomes a lifestyle for you, because I don't like wake up in the morning and think that I'm a top producer. You know, I just think, well, I love my job. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. And it has become so normal for me to be in this schedule. I do work nearly every day. I mean, Sundays I take some time off, but other than that, I mean, I'm up early. The times that you can't, that I call non-money making hours, are the times that you're developing yourself into the person and the business owner you want to be. So waking up early, getting your mind right, setting your schedule up, and setting everything up for success for that day. And then if you're dialing on Mondays and Thursdays, you're on the phone by 7:30. You just have to be. You know, you need to get up, be diligent with it, get your leads in phone burner the night before, let that roll through, and booking those appointments. It's not easy for everybody, and I understand that, because when I first started, I was scared, and I still get scared sometimes now, you know, on the phones. And I think that's normal. It's just pushing past that comfort zone. Every single time you do that, you will find yourself in a place of success. So, you know, making sure that you make enough dials to get the appointments. And those dials could be as simple as you're just going through it and you're having a conversation with somebody. That really is all it is. You know, they answer the phone, you're having a conversation about something they requested that you need to provide them with. You know, at one point they were thinking about this, they filled something out, they sent it in, they wanted it. You know, so in that exact moment, remind them of what they were thinking about so that you can set that appointment to actually sit with them. Or if you're gonna do it over the phone, go ahead and take care of it right then and there. You know, maybe some people are ready to just do it. So to set yourself up for success on those dial days, I mean, you really need to have a minimum of 15 appointments for the next 2 days. And I say that because that's what I was able to get when I first started. Now I probably, you know, I can get a little more now, but when I first started, it was tough for me on the phone. So 15 was about all I could get. And then the way that I supplemented with that was you get no-showed, you door knock. You get no-showed, you're back on the phone. You know, you find a way to do it, and you make that time worthwhile so that you can sit with those families and protect them for what they requested. My in-home presentation is pretty much the same as my virtual one. I do a little bit of both now. And I found that works. But
when do you do both? Like, what is the decision-making factor? They just won't meet, or like, how do you decide?
The decision factor for me was my daughter. So
your daughter, okay.
If my daughter's home, it's become very important to me to be more present with her. So I've found a way to, I'm one of those people that if I'm going to make it work, you know, I'm going to figure out a way to structure this to work for me. So if she's home, virtual scared me at first, to be honest. I was like, I don't know if I can do the same thing over the phone that I can do in the house. But I pushed past my comfort zone, like we all have to do here. And it ends up being the same. You know, you just have to be a little bit more, you have to set it up a little bit differently over the phone, build the credibility that you need to, and it's the same exact thing at the end of the day. You're protecting the family. So that was my determining factor, is just trying to be home a little bit more so that I could be home at night and be there with her, because she's getting older, so I want to be there. And virtual, I think ever since Family First brought that in, a lot of people have had so much success with it. So it's absolutely incredible that we have that platform as well. I started with just in-home when I first started, because that was what I was taught. And my presentation's the same every single time. I mean, once you get the experience, it's basically, you could do it in your sleep. You know, you go into the home, the assumptiveness is the most important part. Like, they filled out something, so you're coming in. You know, you might get a little pushback, but that's okay, because these people are vulnerable. They don't know who you are. They're not sure what exactly you're coming to do. So take that sales pressure off of them and let them know that you're there for them. And it really helps. So you sit at their table, you find a place to actually talk about this important thing, because this is an important thing that we're talking about. So I have my little booklet, I have my license, and then I have this laminated. This is on the website. So this is our carrier sheet. So I have this laminated, and I go ahead and place that in front of the client with my license, just so that they know who I am. So I introduce myself, build a little bit of rapport there with who I am, what I do, and what we're going to do today. And I explain to them that, you know, Grady, I am a insurance underwriter / broker through the state of California. So basically all that means to you is it's unlike a State Farm or a Farmers Insurance where I'm captive or loyal to one carrier or one company. I work through all the state regulated carriers because everyone's very unique and individual in what their insurance needs may be. Awesome. So what I do today is very simple. I'm just going to go through some medical and financial questions with you, see where you stand with both of those things. Based on how you answer that to me, it's really going to get my brain rolling into what would individually put you in the best position possible. Then what we're going to go ahead and do is submit a request for coverage to the carrier themselves, because they're the ones at the end of the day that will make that decision whether or not you're eligible for their coverage. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
And then I go through the financial inventory sheet. So this is also on the website. You need these resources. So you go through everything. You go through what they have going on financially. Do they have a mortgage? Do they rent? If they have a mortgage, let's think about if mortgage protection is an option here at this appointment, because maybe you've booked it for final expense. Maybe you come to find out that mortgage is very important to them also, because they're explaining it to you. You go through all of that, ask them what's going on medically. You know, I go into the medications and the medical stuff just so that they have an idea that, you know, I really do want to know what's going on so that I can place you in the best position possible for you with what you have going on. So I'll go through all of that and then kind of just read out the medical conditions, you know, let me know.
Any way you read it, any particular tricks? Tricks is the wrong word. Things you say.
Things that I do?
Like
Yeah.
any like word patterns or.
Yeah. So I would just, you know, write your name down as soon as I get there. At the age part, if I have a date of birth, I'm just going to write it there. If not, I'm going to say, how young are you, Grady? And they're going to tell me. And then I'll say, are you working, retired, disabled? What's that look like for you? And then you're going to tell me what it is. I'll write that down. And then I say, if they're retired, so a good way for you to approach the income with retired or final expense clients would be, Grady, do you receive pension and Social Security or just Social Security? And then they'll let you know that what they have. Okay. And then after that, go into medications. So basically, what are you prescribed that you may or may not be taking? You know, if it's on your medical record, how long has it been, all of that. Are you a smoker? All of those things, any recent surgeries, anything like that. Go through the medical conditions. I just say, do any of these apply to you? Heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, thyroid, COPD, kidney or liver disease, anxiety, depression. If any of those apply to you, raise your hand. And then they'll tell me, you know.
I like that.
And then if not, great. You know, and then I go through the mortgage, even if it's a final expense, because if they have a mortgage, then this question will remind them again that they do have that mortgage payment that they're going to have have continued. So do you have anything currently to offset the cost of the mortgage when you pass away? Or who is that person that is going to have to take over the mortgage payments when you're no longer here? Those types of things will get their brain going.
Got it.
401ks, IRA, stocks, bonds, that just gives you an idea of, how they think of their finances and where they're putting things. Do you have any current life insurance in place, work or private? If they do have life insurance, then I am going to ask them to bring the policy to me. If they're going to say that they don't know where it is, then I'm going to say, well, that's concerning, because if you don't know where it is, then we don't even know if it's really in place. Do you know the carrier? Those types of things. So I'm going to figure out, because you will find a lot of information from that. You'll find out whether or not they are in the best position possible. And I always let them know, that is my job also as an underwriter, to make sure you're in the best position possible. So let me take a look at that. I can review it for you. If this is perfect for you, we won't even touch it. Great, I'll be on my way. But if I can put you in a better position, then we're going to look at other options as well. So, and then if it's through work, I explain to them, well, that's great that you have something through work, but it's like a company car. If you retire, decide you don't want to work there anymore, it goes with it. So it's not going to be there anymore, so it would be better for us to put you in something that's your own, you have full control over it, so that when you pass away, that day does come, you have something in place for your family. I go through beneficiaries so that it makes them think about who that person is, and then also let them know, like, do you have a will, just so that I have an idea of how prepared they are for when this day does come. Go through that, and then basically based on how they answer it, that's what application I go into. And we have all the tools now with the Underwriting Genie, with the mentors that we have, that you can call anybody. Just about anybody's going to answer their phone and let you know what route to take. And if you can't get a hold of anybody, we have the amazing Underwriting Genies. You can take a picture of this. If you want, send it to them. They'll give you a recommendation. You can go ahead and put it through to the client. And then from there, we'll fill out the application that makes sense to them.
So let's do real quick. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love everything. How do you go? So say 60 years old, smoker, diabetic. We're gonna go American Eagle, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Secret. How do you explain that product and then start to transition to show them a whole life? Like they go, well, I want. Let's do final expense. I want a whole life. Like, what do you say? So, okay, based on this, my suggestion is let's give some like additional word tracks, because how young are you was cool. I like that. And then raise your hand. Like, these are the little secret things that when you're watching this and you're not currently doing it, but she does it, you should just do it, because it's clever, and it also makes the client, how young are you feels far better than how old are you. Well, I don't want to be old when I'm old. I want to be young when I'm old. Right? Raise your hand. It's kind of it's whimsical, which is lightens the mood. So these are clever things that she's developed that you should be copying. So I would be copying. I'm copying right now. So
when it comes to product selection, it's kind of like based on what they had told me. I have a pretty good idea at this point where what carrier to go with. But the way that I explain it is I never want to talk something up to the point where if they don't qualify for it, that they're disappointed. Because every product that we do have, it's going to be suited for that person individually. And they know if they're unhealthy. They know if there's something going on. And I know that I can get them something that's going to work for them. So if it was a diabetic, 50, 55-year-old non-smoker, I'm going to explain it as we're going to look at a whole life product for you. So what this means is it's something that's going to stay level the rest of your life. That premium payment will never go up. It's going to build cash value for you, and it's going to be there and never expire when you pass away. So the reason I would go with American Eagle, in certain states there is the living benefits. So you can talk about those. The cash value is great, and the carrier themselves is awesome. I mean, I've had personal experience with them, so at that point with doing this for so long, when you actually get those calls from families, and Americo's fantastic when they get that claim out to them immediately. That is so nice for a broker and a client to know. So if I can get them qualified with them, I will. If I have to pivot to a different carrier, they're all great. But how do I go between term or whole life?
Sure, yeah.
So that is really dependent on their health, their finances, and if they have a mortgage. So if they are well off financially, if they don't have any medical conditions, and they have a big mortgage payment, then I'm going to look at a term for them, and sometimes I will stack it with whole life as well to ensure that they have a small whole life policy for if they outlive the term. So I explain it to them in that way, that this is how much of this, my professional opinion is for you to be covered because you have this amount of equity in the home, or you have this amount left on your loan, that if something happens to you, or you become terminally ill, that you're going to have this option to get paid out early to take care of these expenses. Or if you're no longer here, your family can continue the same lifestyle that you currently have. So we're going to go and look at this, Grady. We're going to look at a term product through Americo to see if we can cover a portion or all of your mortgage, just to have that safe. And then because of your age, it's a perfect time to lock yourself into some kind of whole life too, even if it's small. We'll get something then, and then if you outlive the term, you can always get back with me later, and we can add a little bit of whole life to that. At least you're getting qualified for something now, So that's how I'll go about it.
Cool.
If they're completely unhealthy and there's no shot with a term, then I explain it to them like the same way I do equity protection, which is mortgage protection, but it's for seniors and it's for someone that may not have the best of health, and it's protecting the equity in the home. So you have to look at it as you're protecting the amount of equity that they've built in the home, not necessarily the face value of the product. So a $10,000 Americo Eagle product, to them, that might not seem like a lot. And if that's all they can afford, the way I'm going to explain it to them is this is protecting that $150,000 worth of equity that you've built in this house. So you can look at that $10,000 and think it's not a lot, but that $10,000 is going to keep up those mortgage payments for 10 months after you're gone, which is going to allow your family to protect that equity so the bank doesn't take it. So explaining it to them that way works a whole lot better than saying, I can't cover your whole mortgage and it's only $10,000. Like $10,000 is a lot of money.
Ton of money.
To be able to protect a home that's worth $500,000.
Correct.
So going back and forth and really finding a need and a why. And that's why I really like in-home as well, because I can get a little bit more personal with somebody. But virtual, you can do the same exact thing. You just have to kind of, be patient on the phone, talk with them. Like on the phone, like when I first started doing virtual, I would get nervous because I was running through it too fast. And I was like, nope, you got to slow down.
Yeah. Because
they need to think about what we're doing. Do you know why I'm calling? Do you understand why I'm talking to you and what we have going on? So you get better with practice. Really, the more you do this, anything, the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. And I can do this now in my sleep because I have sat with so many families and been on the phone for so many calls that it's become very, very fluid for me. And that's what I try and help my agents figure out as well. Spending time with them to learn the same exact process, because this business is simple. It may not be easy all the time, but nothing's easy that's worth having, really. And adversity is going to come and it's going to hit everybody. It's the way that you tackle it. So, we're going to hit adversity in this business. I truly believe that if you stay the course and you don't give up, that you will be very successful here.
I love it. I agree wholeheartedly, and that was tremendous. Please rewind and take some notes on those word tracks, because those are the secret words that you want to learn from an elite producer. I'm going to give you with a couple unique scenarios, and I want to see how you would handle them. So you're going through the app, say it's we're doing Americo Eagle, and you get to the page 3 and it kicks it back, and they now can no longer qualify because it gets kicked to Eagle Guaranteed, right? How do you handle that now? Like, what do you, if you see it pop, the clients told you this, you're confident going in, they're going to get approved for Eagle. Then all of a sudden page 3 pops up and it goes, Eagle Guaranteed 10K. Yeah. What do you do at that second? Like, how do you handle that position? Because there's a lot of agents right now that are submitting for policies that go, well, what happened? We sold them Eagle Guaranteed. You're like, no. So how do you handle that? Yeah. What do you do?
And that's totally fine if you do that a couple times, because I did it when I first started, and it was on accident. I didn't really understand the products until I learned more. But the way that I handle that situation is, I'm not going to make the client feel bad about not qualifying. I'm not even going to tell them. I'm just going to go through it. I realized that happened, and then I always write down their information, the stuff that I need, either on this page or I have it in my calendar. So the Google Calendar that I book appointments on, all of their date of birth, their address, everything is on there. Everything else I write down on here. And what I do is from there, I'm going to pivot to the carrier that is going to be the
What question do you ask them? What do you say they just...
So basically what I will say is there anything that you may have forgotten on your medical record, or... if it's term, is there anything on your criminal record that you didn't disclose to me before? And I say it's totally fine. Like, there's not a problem. I just need to know so that I can best assist you and put you in the best position possible. And then they'll either tell me, oh yeah, like I guess I don't really have COPD, but I have this medication for it. Okay, so that was maybe what it was.
I have 4 inhalers, but I don't have COPD.
I don't have COPD. Yeah, so you'll get that stuff, and it's okay. So you're
Correct.
picking their brain again, and at that point, I'm pivoting to a different application, and with certain carriers,
smoothly,
like
confident.
almost like I'm not even doing it. Like I'm going into a different application, putting the info in again, and then if it does go to further underwriting with a different carrier, all I say is to the client is, this just went yellow. That doesn't mean that you're approved. It doesn't mean that you're not approved. It's a good spot to be in. The carrier's just going to take a closer look to see what's going on. And Grady, if this one doesn't work for you, it's totally fine because I work with all these different carriers. So we'll hop back up on the phone, or I'll come back out to the house and find you something that works. But for now, we're going to let this one get submitted over to underwriting, see what they say. And
who would that be?
Go for that.
Would that be AMM?
Aetna. Aetna, AMM, Mutual sometimes.
You won't sell an AIG there as well?
Yeah, I will.
Depending on what the meds are and what the list is. Okay.
Usually, it just depends. Like if you know that they are only going to qualify for AIG, then yes, I will. And the way that I have to pivot back to that is just letting them know that, unfortunately, because of something. Well, it doesn't happen that often because honestly, like
you do enough underwriting, you get it. But if you're getting guaranteed. Yellow was the best line I've heard all week. This just went yellow. That was amazing.
It's not good or bad, but
that's great.
AIG, you typically know that off the bat because you can tell by if you're in the home with the person, you can tell if they're that
how many meds they've got.
That many meds. That this may be the only option, and then I just have to explain the product to them a little bit more. It's a return of premium the first 2 years, and
110%.
It's 110%.
There's no loss to the client.
There's no loss here, And we always want to think about that when it comes to people that have money also with life insurance. Like you're gonna get the objection of like, well, I don't need life insurance because I have a savings account and I have A, B, and C that's gonna take care of this. The way that I get around that is that in my eyes, everybody needs life insurance, and I truly believe that. So if you have the money, why wouldn't you put that into something like this? It's only going to appreciate in value when everything else in the world is depreciating in value. That's going to be there for you, guaranteed when you pass away, and it's better than sitting in your bank. So if you explain it like that, some people will get it, some people won't, But at least that's your last resort. If they're telling you they don't believe in life insurance, explain to them why you believe in it,
Sure.
And what you have, what do you have to protect your family? And we should all have it. I mean, hopefully we do.
Hopefully you all do. If you don't, today's a good day to get it.
Yeah.
Accidental. When do you use add-on accidental?
Accidental I use if they're very, very concerned with a high face amount.
Okay.
Yeah. That might not be the best way to go about it. I add accidental to almost every America policy that I write, so that just ups it a little bit, the premium, and they're not usually worried about that. So I'll just explain that this does have accidental included. Same with Aetna, you can click that second one.
What about the Moo accidental product?
Moo accidental, I think that most people should have that. And to be transparent, I should get better at that. Really, I don't necessarily always think about that, but that is a good product to have because it's return of premium. So why not?
It covers up to 70.
Yeah.
It's a good upsell, or not so good pivot, downsell, or add-on.
Yeah.
And the value in it is that you can put husband and wife, and they're guaranteed approval.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes a good solution when you're sitting with a client who they are fighting you, and I want this, and I'm not getting this. Okay, John. So you think you're super healthy, right? I think you're super healthy. The insurance company right now, they're having some issues with your meds. So, but you're going to the doctor a lot right now, right? Yeah, I'm going to the doctor a lot. Okay, perfect. You're getting checked, tracked. They're reviewing you all the time. Okay, so we would both agree that the most likely cause of a near passing then would be an accident then, right? All those crazy drivers out there texting, slip in the bathtub, fall through the Christmas lights, look at the floor, slip on the carpet, right? Something like that, an accident. That's the most likely cause of a death in the near future, right? Right. Okay. So what most people do, John, is they put some sort of an accidental in place to cover against that situation. Right now, we just went yellow, so we're going to see what happens with this whole life product. But right now, we want to put something in place at least to cover for accidents. God forbid this does take longer than we want. Right. That's how I always did it. Just
Yeah,
to
'cause
put
that's a
because
good way
it
to
puts
put something in place.
Put something in place, creates them a client. Now your office can take over, elongate the sales process, builds trust. They get a thank you card still, and then you still get this other app that then we can figure out what the heck's going on. And if you do, they go green or they go red. We can now use that product. Or, but the big thing, guys, is don't leave the home without putting something in place like that. I mean, you're very humble in that regard, but you're not soft in the home. We're putting something in place today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
John, I didn't come all the way over here.
Outside of the home is different than in the home. I'm very direct and very straightforward with the client on what's happening. So I don't know where I got that from, but that is definitely because
it works.
I'm very serious when it comes to this. I'm barely cracking a smile until we're basically at the end, and have decided the hard part.
Which is what clients want.
Yeah.
They don't want friends. They want someone who's strong, who's going to be there for them, that's helping them make this hard decision. Because at this point in their life, they don't have insurance. That's why you're there. And you're there to help be that confidant with options that they get to now decide and go, okay, this does feel good. She's confident. She's strong. She's a broker. This makes sense to me.
Yeah. You're the professional. You know better than they do. I mean, if they think they know more than you, sometimes I've said, oh, do you have your insurance license too? Just make it funny with them, because then they'll be like, oh, dang, no, like maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Maybe she does.
So.
All right. Any final closing tips you say in the home? Any final thing? Like, how do you, app submitted? Okay. App submitted. You see it go green. What's that next 3 minutes look like? What are you doing? What are you saying? What's the process from your office?
So the back of my business card, I write down what we did, premium, the carrier, and then the effective date. And then I let them know that they're going to get a packet in the mail. And at that point, you can review everything in the policy. If you want me to review it for you, please give me a call, and I have no problem doing that. I'm going to have my admin, Bailey. She's going to give you a call in about 3 days to check up on you, let you know that the packet's coming in the mail. And if you want to set up a review, you can do that with her. Set up a time with me to talk about it. So I think client follow-up's really important. That's been really important for me with client retention, is just following up with them. Something I didn't do necessarily at the very beginning of my business, and learning to do that, it helps keep things on the books, and it helps credibility for you. You gain referrals. It's just a really good way of building your business. So it's the last 3 minutes are probably the most friendly part of the appointment.
That's right.
I'm happy. They're happy. Hugs.
Job's done. They're protected.
Done.
Hard conversation they didn't want to have. Had. Now it's done. Mm-hmm. And now something's set in place. So, now any final thoughts, just in closing for the call that you have for the agents, new agents, anyone out there that's going, I think I could do what she's doing, but what are some final words you have for the audience out there?
Well, if you think that you can do what I'm doing, you can do what I'm doing, because I'm nothing special. I'm not that smart. I really don't have anything. There's nothing that sets me apart from you except for experience at this point. If you're brand new, just months. There's months that keep us different. That's it. And work, So if you put your mind to it and you believe in this, it's like the law of attraction. If you believe this is going to work for you, it will work for you. If you believe this won't work for you, it won't. It's just kind of the way that it goes. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in the vehicle that we have here for success, because the people that do that have a lot of success here. And the ones that believe they can't do it, they even have some success, but they won't have as much, It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and eventually I strongly believe everyone's going to be here anyways. So you might as well take it seriously now, get to where you want to go, and change your life. That's all I got.
Thank you, Katelynn.